Hey guys, back with another video. As you can tell, I'm not I'm not here. This is just a voice only video. My iMac that I use that has the webcam on it, I sold that because I just recently actually got a gaming PC. I'll talk about that in a later video, but I don't have my video camera anymore either. Well, I do, but it's broken at the moment. I got to get that fixed. But I'm waiting for a laptop battery from my old MacBook Pro so I can get the webcam going again. Uh, so I can't really record actual video. But I just beat Shin Megami Tensei 4. Actually, not I think not too long ago, and I felt like I just had to get my opinions on this game out there. I had to make a video talking about this game. And the main reason why is I fucking love this game. Uh, okay. I wasn't expecting to like this game as much as I did. And right now, I'll tell you, it's my favorite 3DS game. Probably about on par with Virtue's Last Reward right now. And by far my game of the year so far. It could still be topped. There's still some games coming out that look to be pretty awesome, but for now, this is for sure my game of the year. Um, but the Shin Megami Tensei series, I'm still pretty much a noob when it comes to this series. Persona 3 and 4 are the only games I've played in the series actually before this. I've never played any game in the mainline series. This is my introduction to that. I love Persona 3 and 4. They're some of my favorite games of all time, and they really got me into the Shin Megami Tensei series. Although I was a bit hesitant on the other ones because those are generally considered the most accessible and easy of the games, and these games are reportedly have quite a high difficulty level, especially the mainline games. So as if I was a bit worried going into this one, but from all the gameplay videos and from people in the YouTube community saying how amazing this was and how amazing it looked, I knew I had to play this. I know I'm getting to it a bit late. A lot of people have already played through this and beaten it. It took me 47 hours to beat the game, and that's doing most of the side quests. There are some I didn't end up doing, but I did generally do them all, and that's just one ending. I didn't get the nothing ending. I heard about the nothing ending. That ends a lot sooner than a lot of the other endings, and then there's a neutral, a law, and a chaos ending. Um, and by the way, no spoilers in this video. I'm not going to be spoiling any story, so you don't need to worry about that. I got the law ending. Um, and honestly, I wasn't I thought the entire game I wasn't really going for it. For the majority of the game, I felt like I was heading towards the chaos ending. Then all of a sudden, I kind of found myself going for the law ending. It was very strange. But where do I want to start with this game? I guess the storyline, and of course, I'm not going to talk about spoilers, so I'm not going to go over the storyline too much. Uh, Needless to say, I think this is where most people are going to disagree with my opinion on this, and just plain disagree. Uh, I gotta say, the storyline never really got me hooked. It never really grabbed me from the beginning all the way up until the end. I don't know. It. I think part of it might have to do with the characters themselves in the game. You generally play with this group of characters throughout the entire game, pretty much. The problem with them, though, is that there are some character interactions, but it's usually they're always talking about the story and not about themselves. Uh, and they don't really change from the starting of the game all the way to the ending of the game. They change maybe a bit, but not too much. And I don't know, I never found myself caring about the characters or what happened to them or what was really going on in the storyline. There are some little cool parts here and there, and I did like it a bit better towards the end, but I don't know. Compared to Persona 3 and 4, I don't know. The storyline just really didn't grab me. Um, Basically, you play a character who wants to become a samurai, and you travel to the eastern kingdom of Mikado to become a samurai, and you kind of go on missions from there, and then shit starts to go down. Basically, I really don't want to spill too much on it, even though I didn't really enjoy the storyline that much. But I think a lot of people will. It's a pretty epic storyline, and it gets more crazy and crazy as you go. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, I think you'll dig it. Personally, it wasn't really for me. Um, but and I say this is my favorite game of the year so far, yet I really didn't like the story and characters. And the gameplay is what completely drew me in. First, though, I want to talk about the visuals and sound, I guess. Visually, it's a great looking game. It's not amazing looking. There's definitely better 3DS games. Uh, there's a bit of blurred textures going on. It's not an incredibly pretty game by any means. And the 3D effect is just it just doesn't even work. Like it's got like extreme ghosting on all the characters. I couldn't play this game in 3D at all. Turned it on for maybe like a minute and then turned it off. Um, but it looks good. It's a very dark game, but the environments are what's great in this game. Like the environment designs, the actual art direction in this game is fantastic. But on a technical level, maybe not the greatest. Audio wise, this is a huge aspect for me that I wasn't expecting. Persona 3 and 4, love the soundtracks in those games. They're very quirky, upbeat, like J-pop kind of soundtracks. And this is completely different. It's a bit more eclectic in the sense that you've got some really dark atmospheric kind of like really kind of dark almost like ambient kind of music, but then you've also got these kind of catchy drum and bass almost kind of tracks with some vocal melodies thrown in there. The music just fits the game so well, and I had it stuck in my head for ages, just like with the Persona soundtracks. Um, some really mysterious music too. It really fits the theme of the game. I absolutely love the music. Probably one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a long time. I was really impressed with the music in this game. Sound effects are also excellent, of course. Really, the sound design in this game, the audio part of it is fantastic. But with that out of the way, let's get to the most important part of the game, the gameplay. And there's a lot here. It's going to be hard to say exactly where to start. Right from the beginning, the game actually seems like it would be like it seems like it's almost a dungeon crawler in the beginning. You start going through this Naruto dungeon, and it's like multiple floors, and you're going up and up and up, and it feels like it's like a dungeon crawler. Later in the game, though, it changes completely. The whole flow of the game changes, and you're going through multiple dungeons that aren't too long, which I actually liked that. The dungeons were short and sweet, I thought, in this game. They were really designed well. But basically, where do I want to start? Basically this game's kind of similar in the Persona in the sense that you're basically going around gathering demons. Um, you basically instead of the other characters being in the battle with you, only one of them can be in the battle with you at a time, and you don't control them. They'll just attack on their own after your turns are done. And the game uses a press turn system, which is kind of similar to the Persona games, but not quite. Every attack you use or do takes up a turn. If you attack an enemy though with their weakness, you get an extra turn. And I think the maximum is 8 turns you can get if you keep using enemies' weaknesses, and that is the key to the battles in this game. You will find this game extremely difficult if you don't make sure to use the weaknesses or figure out the demons' weaknesses. And you're fighting demons in this game. You're collecting demons. The way to collect demons in this game, you negotiate with them, you talk with them, and try to get them to join your team. And this I found an odd system at first. I found at first like they would just always decline. It's really weird how the demon negotiation system works. Like you'll talk to a demon and they might ask you like they'll ask you either a random question or they'll want well usually they'll ask you a random question first. It can be so these questions can be so completely random and the answers that you can choose from can be so just random and out there. But a lot of these negotiations are actually quite humorous. That even if you do fail them, you get a good laugh out of them. The problem with failing them, though, um, you can lose like a whole bunch of turns if you lose out, or they can just straight out start attacking you, or they can leave the battle. So it's a bit risky, and if you choose the wrong answers, and a lot of the times I found it kind of hard to know what was the right answer because you kind of got to have a gauge on the demon's personality. Each demon kind of has their own personality. The system I found very random and kind of frustrating in the beginning of the game, but it definitely got easier towards the end, and I was getting demons left and right from these battles. But that's a big part of the game. Another big part is fusing these demons together, and this is one of the major things I loved in this game compared to, say, Persona 3 and 4. The demon fusing system in that game, for whatever reason, I found it kind of annoying at times, even though I still enjoyed it there. This game, constantly, I was going through the menus, the demon fusing system, trying to get just the right powers on my demons, just the right kind of demons. You can fuse one or two together and kind of make a new one with powers combined from the two, and it can be boosted and like have like a higher level and stuff like that. You can make there's like special fusions where you can get three different demons together to make a really powerful special one. I actually didn't do too many of those throughout the game. Just the one, one demon and another demon was good enough for me. But again, another system you're gonna have to make use of to actually uh, be efficient at this game. But it's really addictive. The demon fusing. Almost every time you level up, you're gonna want to get into the fusing system because every time you level up, you can create stronger demons. Um, just a really fun system. Another system in this game that's different from Persona, this wasn't in Persona 3 or 4, are the apps. You have these, your characters have these gauntlets, and it basically is your like interface as well as your map. Your map's on the bottom touchscreen, which is an amazing map, very helpful. I loved how easy it was to pinpoint locations on that map. You knew exactly where the exits and entrances were of the areas, where the shops were in the town type areas. Really helpful map. I loved that part. But these gauntlets, basically, all your options are as a part of this gauntlet, and you have like this AI called Burros, which she like gives you tips, uh, tutorials, stuff like that. She'll let you know if strong demons are up ahead, so you know what you're getting into. Just a really cool, helpful system that never got in the way, which was great. But she can provide you with apps where every time you level up, you'll get 10 app points, and you can get app points in other ways. Well, actually, the only way I saw was an item that can give you 10. But you can get different abilities through this. Some of them might be like raising the demon fusion ceiling, which basically makes you be able to fuse a demon like one or two higher levels than you are, and you can keep bumping that up higher. You can make demons have their, get more skills. You can have your character have more skills, which that's another thing. Your character can get skills from your demons when they level up. Sometimes their skills can evolve and change when they level up. There's just so much to the gameplay, and it's so addictive, and there's just so many cool little features to it. It's got so much depth to it. And the battle system itself, I far more enjoyed than the Persona games. I was shocked at how much I was loving the battle system. Um, the challenge level of this game. A lot's been said about how hard Shin Megami Tensei 4 is. I played on normal mode. I was thinking I was going to change to easy mode because I was expecting this game to kick my ass. And it did. For the first, I'd say maybe 5 to 10 hours, this game was pretty brutal. Um, if basically on the not on the world map, but in the dungeons, you've got it's kind of like an overhead view where you see your character, you move around. You can do preemptive strikes on the enemies, so if you press the X button, you can slash your weapon at the enemies, and you can get preemptive strikes. The problem is you got to really pay attention because if they get you from behind, uh, they'll get a preemptive strike on you, and they can use your weaknesses because your demons and your character can have weaknesses too. You got to watch out for that as well. And they can sometimes like one hit kill either you, one of your demons, or your entire party if you let them get a preemptive strike on you. Which I found a lot of the times, especially towards the end of the game, if they got a preemptive strike on me, I'd almost immediately get a game over, or I'd be in a position where I couldn't really get back. All my demons, like three of my demons, would be dead, and I couldn't really do anything because if I tried to heal them, they'd kill the demon that comes back and my character, and if I don't, they just kill my character. You really got to go after the preemptive strikes in this game because it gets a bit hairy if they attack you first. But yeah, the enemies do quite a lot of damage in the beginning of the game. A lot of the bosses in the early game are quite tough, but as you get used to how the battle system works and how the demon fusing works, and as long as you're patient, I think patience is the key with this game, and it was for me. And also save often. After almost every other battle, I was saving my game. And if things didn't go my way pretty much exactly, or if I came into a boss battle and they got a preemptive strike and really did a lot of damage to my party, or if I couldn't find out the weaknesses of a boss like halfway through the battle, I'd go to the home menu on the 3DS and go immediately back into the game. And you're gonna have to do this, I think, quite a lot. I looked at my activity log because it tells you how many times you've played a game, like times played. Shin Megami Tensei 4, played Shin Megami Tensei 4 233 times apparently, which means I reset the game around 233 times. So you know what? It is a challenging game for sure, but I think the thing with this game is, and why I love it so much, is that it's challenging but not frustrating. I was never frustrated throughout this entire game. There was only two bosses that really frustrated me, and I got to a point where I was just really angry. The final boss on the Law Path, I don't want to go into that, but it took me forever to kill that final boss. Like it was insane. Like it spammed like this one almighty attack over and over and over again. It was insane. And then the Minotaur boss, fairly early in the game, really gave me some trouble until I found a good strategy. Which in a lot of these bosses and enemies, it's basically kind of like almost a trial and error process, trying to figure out a good strategy. And if you can't quite beat them, a good thing to do is just to go into the demon fusion menu and try to, make a new cool demon or try to use some new powers. There always seems to be a way to get past your troubles in this game, and that's what I love so much about the gameplay in this. It's that perfect balance where it's challenging but never frustrating. Something I also feel like the Souls games, Demon Souls and Dark Souls, did really well. But in terms of the flow of the game, basically you're exploring these environments and dungeons, killing the enemies, trying to make your way to the bosses. But the game actually does have a world map or a kind of overworld. Once you, I don't want to spoil that, but later in the game you do find yourself in an overworld, a giant world map where you can walk to different locations. There are enemies on the world map. But as far as I know, you can't get into preemptive strikes on the world map. But there are enemies from when you're walking from place to place. And this is probably other than the story and characters, this is really my only other complaint I have, and it's nothing too major. I know a lot of people were bothered by it, and I was too, admittedly, but not to the extent that a lot of other people were. I think the world map is like this super overhead view, and the way it's designed is really confusing. Everything kind of looks the same, and all the different locations. It's hard to kind of to know like what one location is compared to another. It's very hard to get a good grasp on where you are in relation to other locations on the world map. And towards the end of the game is where it got super confusing because the game is admittedly not that good at giving you direction. I mean, it's okay. It could be worse. But towards the end of the game, they just kind of tell you, "Oh, go here," and you kind of got to figure out on your own where you're supposed to go. And the world map is confusing enough as it is that it makes it so that you're doing a lot of wandering around aimlessly later in the game, and that kind of got a bit frustrating. The world map is just really confusing, and when you're constantly running into enemies trying to get to where you need to go, you're not really sure where it is. It can definitely grate on you a bit. I kind of wish they did it in another way. Towards the beginning of the game, I thought the whole game was going to be like menu driven, because in the beginning you're just picking locations from a menu, kind of like Etrian Odyssey if without the world map part. Which this game actually reminded me of Etrian Odyssey 4 a lot. Of course, same developer, Atlas, of course, but I don't know. It just reminded me of that, and surprisingly enough, 999, the Gauntlet, and just a lot of the visual aspects to the game. Because it's very like I forgot to talk about this. It's very like there's barely any cutscenes. It's mostly just static images and voice acting, which actually the voice acting is really good too. I forgot to mention that as well. But they look fine. It could have been a bit more flashy, I guess. But a lot of that I think has to do with the fact that it's on the 3DS. So, this isn't a PS3 or 360 game. Um, but yeah, the world map was another fairly like it wasn't huge to me, but it was definitely kind of annoying. The side quests in the game are pretty fun. I found a lot of the ones you got were a lot higher level than you are when you get them. I'd try for these side quests and I just couldn't beat the bosses they were expecting me to beat. Like they were much higher level than me. Um, so I had to go and do them like way later. But by that time, the rewards they gave weren't that great. So I don't know, it was kind of odd that way. But later in the game, the rewards are better. I was always going for the weapons and armor. I had to have the weapons and armor, but which that's fun too. It's a little minor thing, but I loved it how when you buy armor, it shows up on your character, which I thought that was a neat touch. I always love when games do that. But yeah, actually, I think that about covers it. There's a new game plus two when you beat the game, so you can go through again and try to get one of the other endings. I'll be doing that not right away. I think I'm gonna give this game a break for now. and try to move on to other games. I knew I wanted to finish this for the game of the year list I'm gonna do eventually, and I'm glad I did. Really, this game is fan fucking tastic. Absolutely love this game. Um, and honestly, Shin Megami Tensei series, it's rising up there to become one of my favorite JRPG series or favorite gaming series really of all time. It's getting up there with the Tales games for me, and I really wanna. This is making me want to play all the other games in the series now. Devil Survivor is the next one I'm gonna play. Overclocked on the 3DS. That's a strategy RPG, which I'm normally not too into. So that should be interesting if the Shin Megami Tensei series can get me into that strategy RPG. But if you're a newcomer to this series, this is a good one to start with, I think. Even with the Persona games existing, because a lot of people aren't too big on the social link aspects of those games, going to school and things like that. And this game doesn't have any of that. But there's an easy mode that you can unlock in this game if you die, I think, twice in the game. Uh, which I gotta mention that too. I like when you die in this game, they want you in order to revive, you have to pay money the first time. And one of the reasons why I never did easy mode really is because I like money is pretty scarce in this game, and it costs a lot of money to revive. So every time I die and was brought to that screen for the first few times, I was like, nope, nope, I can't do it. I can't spend that money. I gotta save my money. I was really stingy throughout this game. Anytime I got into a bad position, it was just reset, reset, reset. But it never got frustrating, which was odd. But anyways, a fantastic game. But that easy mode's there for someone that wants to get into the series. And it does take a considerable amount of time. I think I was a better off playing this game too. I think I did a bit better on it than I was normally would have, considering I knew all the different kind of spells in this game. I knew that Dia was the healing spell. I knew that actually, yeah, I knew that Bufu was the ice spell. I knew all that kind of stuff, so I generally knew what I was getting into with this game. But still, newcomers I think, will definitely enjoy this on the easy mode, and then they can like kind of work their way up if they if they are able to get through that. So. Honestly, if you're a fan of JRPGs, RPGs in general, honestly, if you have a 3DS, I'd say buy this game. A lot of content, a lot of replay value, a lot of quests, and the gameplay is just it. Honestly, I'd say it's perfect in my eyes. And very minor complaints. I mean, the story is just personally not for me. I think a lot of people would still really enjoy it. And then that world map being slightly annoying. But yeah, fantastic game. My game of the year so far. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.